Hi, my name is Henry. I'm a Muay Thai enthusiast and I also commentate at the fight nights here on the island of Koh Phangan in Thailand. You will all be familiar with the standard hand wraps that everyone uses when training in the gym. But for actual fights, the hands are wrapped differently using medical gauze and tape. Over the years, I've noticed that most fighters have their own individual way of wrapping their hands before a fight. So I thought it'd be interesting to see how ex-Rajadamnern Stadium and Channel 7 champion Kru Jomhod from Jomhod Muay Thai in Koh Phangan in Thailand likes to wrap his hands for high-level fights. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I knocked him out.
Yeah.
So
Punch power. When you punch with this. Yeah. For fight.
Basically, he's saying that because you're throwing with full power in a fight, you've really got to protect the knuckles.
Fight Lumpini or Rajadamnern have more.
Okay, Cap.
Yeah.
At fight nights here in Koh Phangan, we use 10-ounce gloves or 12-ounce gloves, depending on how heavy you are. At the big stadiums, Lumpini and Rajadamnern, they use gloves that can be as small as 6-ounce. So there's not much protection, so you really need to build up the knuckles to protect the hand. Before he wraps the hands with medical gauze, he lays down a foundation with medical tape just over the knuckles and over the top of the hand. This is to protect the skin from chafing because medical gauze is quite coarse. So when you punch, it can chafe the skin a little bit. So he lays down this foundation just to make sure that doesn't happen. The next step is to build up the padding around the knuckles. He does this by tearing off a long piece of tape. He then rolls that tape into a cord and then folds that cord once and then twice, basically. He then sticks that folded up piece of cord over the knuckles, and he does this 3 times.
Normally long shot okay, but
Basically, he's saying that normally he would be wearing trousers, so he would roll the tape on his trousers, but he's not wearing trousers and he can't do it on his bare thigh because it will pull the skin. Okay, here he's just checking to see whether he's got the length right for the shape of my hand. Now that he's happy with the length, he's going to repeat the process 2 more times, so he's got 3 cords that perfectly fit my knuckles.
Fight tonight.
Fight tonight, yeah.
Good luck.
ขอบคุณครับนับ take up for doing this
Good luck. Not sleeping.
yeah how are you morning
Good afternoon.
How are you? Good.
How are you? Hey. Hi, how are you?
Huh?
How are you?
Good
Now that he's happy with the shape, he's going to secure all 3 cords on my knuckles with one single piece of tape.
This one next time you take off like you can do this okay yeah
Now that he's essentially created a mold for my fist, he's saying that I can take off that mold and reuse it time and time again if I want.
Put 2 cords.
He now lays down another foundation of medical tape over the top of the hand. He now takes out the medical gauze that he's going to use to wrap my whole hand. He starts by wrapping the gauze several times around his own hand to create a pad.
3 4 5
which he then places carefully over my knuckles. He then secures the pad in place by wrapping the gauze several times around my open hand. He then wraps my wrist, my thumb, and knuckles again in a specific pattern. I've noticed that lots of fighters and trainers do this differently from each other. What I noticed with Crew Jomhod is that he didn't wrap my wrist particularly tightly. I remember the last time I had my hands wrapped, which was years ago, it being a lot tighter than this. All of the fighters here in Thailand use just one brand of medical gauze, and it's called Wow Bandage. It's 2 inches wide and 6 yards long, and they only use this one brand. You can get it in most pharmacies here in Thailand.
normally you can put inside here
Up. 10.
He then tucks the end of the gauze strip underneath the wad of wrap on the palm side of my hand and then winds it round it several times, basically locking the whole hand wrap in place. This bit's quite interesting. He essentially tears off a piece of tape, uses his teeth to divide it into 3 really thin strips, and then uses each strip basically to wrap around the gap between my knuckles. So basically from my palm side over the top of the fist to the top of the hand. And as he lays down each strip, he locks it in place by tucking it underneath the growing wad of wrap on my palm side. It's like he's creating a tiny little divider between each knuckle. Not easy, huh?
Yeah, not easy.
He then lays down strips of tape over the knuckle and the top of the hand, locking the dividers in place.
When I fly Bangkok, you know, this one more big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here he's just repeating that when you fight in Bangkok at Rajadamnern or Lumpini Stadium that you need a lot more padding because you need a lot more power.
You see, looks strong, huh? Yeah, looks same fight Lumpini really.
He then wraps tape around my thumb and several times around my wrist to lock the whole hand wrap in place.
This one like I be careful, not strong too much, you know.
And blood.
Yeah, if strong too much, like I cannot punch.
Okay, he's basically saying that you don't want the hand wrap to be too tight around the wrist because then you can't punch. He then puts a final piece of tape on the palm side just to lock in any loose ends.
This, you know, you see. Ready for fight tonight? Yeah, good.
Yeah, beautiful. So
Let's
Yeah.
do your hand. Rồi.
wow.
When I put rib, like here, press, like I don't put more strong like this. Normally I can put
Basically saying that he doesn't normally put this much effort into hand wraps for local fights, for his fighters.
Here, one hand. You see, cut shirt, they put like a rope here. Some stem. Yeah, in Bangkok they check too, you know. Bangkok,
check because
Yeah.
if you put something inside.
yeah. Someone put like a coin, you know.
Yeah.
1 baht, 2 baht.
Đây mà này. Okay.
Someone.
An interesting bit of trivia there at the end, before the camera was turned off. He was saying that back in the day, people used to cheat by putting 1 or 2 baht coins underneath their hand wraps. So that's why in the big stadiums, the officials check the hand wraps before they put the gloves on, which I didn't know about. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Crew Jomhod from Jomhod Muay Thai. Great gym here on the island of Koh Phangan in Thailand. I hope you enjoyed this episode and we will be back with another one soon.